Up and running once again. B-Dunk now sitting 5th coming through this section right before we finish up this qualifying session. That's number 16, it's running in 16th, the number 72 of number 1 FinFan, picking up the DNF last week, now trying to put a time up on this board. Another 2:27 to go, Mitch. This is going to be crunch time for these pilots.
It is. It's going to be crunch time. This is going to be 2 minutes, 15 seconds to go, and this is where you get the money right here, right now. This is where you get the chips, because this is where you want to get your best lap in. And we see a few cars out there on the mediums. We see mainly all the top 8 on soft tyres. They're going soft to hard, surely, at the start. And you see, of course, FinFan on the medium. So it's all about 150 to go. Get your best lap time in. It's going to be Bronny Chandler Hoopalicious battle here. It's going to be on as B-Dunk retires in the pit lane.
B-Dunk goes ahead and retires in this session. Pirandi with a $1.34 remaining, going through this tough right-left section. You can see it looked like one of the other Williams, that was FRA Formula, going right through the track here. Not sure what's happened with the Williams pilot, but nevertheless, the Australian continues. Yellow flag out in the session, but let's go back to Pirandi, who's getting ready to start his final attempt at the pole. BRL Pirandi, the points leader, onto those soft red Pirellis. Mitchie through this final corner. Pirandi's getting ready. Take us for a lap around the Hungaroring.
Well, let's go for it here. This is going to be a crucial lap here for Pirandi, because Chandler and Hoop behind are also on laps as well. But Pirandi's going to be the first one to cross the line of the main contenders. So let's watch. The best passing point tonight is here at turn 1. This is where the DRS, and you get another DRS chance for it coming up here to turn 2. If you can't get that best run out of turn 1, turn 2 is one of your best opportunities. And he will try. He's looking pretty good at the moment through turn 3. And now the scariest part of the track, in my opinion, turn 4 and 5 coming up, can be a little bit deadly. And he's a little bit slightly off in the first sector, actually. Turn 5, don't want to hit that curve on the right, because your day will be over, guaranteed, as it comes through 6 and 7. Right on the curb, beautifully. Just inches away from track limits warning, Pirandi, as the checkered flag is out, and we're about to find out who's going to get pole position. It's up, it's purple in the middle sector for Pirandi. Now for 12 and 13, maybe a slide past the opportunity for these parts of the track if you get the chance, as we're now coming up to the last corner. Got to get it right through here, because you can always make an error. As now Pirandi's about to cross the line, it will be a 12-7 free, but can Chandler or Hoop beat that?
Checkered flag flies in Hungary. Williams, Renault, Ferrari, your top 3. Chandler Seta getting ready to go through his final section at the Hungaroring. Allen will finish 4th unless anybody 7th on can beat him. Hoopalicious coming across the line. Does he get the pole? 2nd, 1:12.81. Chandler Seta, final corner across the line for the Renault pilot. 3rd for Chandler Seta, 1:12.96. And Deer Hunter, Hey Katra, still to finish up laps. Deer Hunter will start 7th. Hey Katra in the number 54 Ferrari, finishing up her flying lap here. Rather pedestrian pace. I don't know if this is going to be a quick lap for the Ferrari pilot. Wahman retires from the session, but Mitchie, that is it. The points leader, top of the tree. He will start from the front in round 10.
0.081, only just over Hoop, and of course 75-point lead in the championship, will now be in the golden position of P1 here at Hungary. So Hoop needs to get that good jump, or Pirandi will most likely get away.
That's going to do it. Take a look at the running order. We're going to go to a very short break before we get this race started. You're watching the Breakout Racing League Formula 1 Hungarian Grand Prix. Here we are for the parade lap in the Hungarian Grand Prix, and fans at home, you are seeing correctly, the sky is dark at the virtual Hungaroring, and we are going to get this underway.
Yes, 75 points for Perondi at the moment. Bruno Will just there, 27 points behind Hoopalicious and Chandler, Formula, B-Dunk. That second to six could still be a feisty battle towards the end of the season to watch out for, but Perondi, top of the pops really at the moment, 75 points. Something dramatic has to go wrong to really lose that margin, but you never know till he gets that done.
The rain is the great equalizer, Mitch, and although it's great for the fans to see, it is often chaos for these drivers to battle with, something that becomes incredibly difficult, especially at an aero-based racetrack like Hungary.
Yeah, Hungary's definitely a tough circuit in the rain. It definitely is. And if we see the drops here tonight, it will open this race up completely. Look out for that.
Everybody get ready for the start of round 10 of the Breakout Racing League Formula One Hungarian Grand Prix. For Perondi from the pole, getting ready for the lights. Five lights up. 5 lights down, and we are racing in Hungary. Round 10 of the Hungarian Grand Prix underway. Perondi gets off to a fantastic start, funneling down into the first corner. Chandler Seda, Hoopalicious behind him. Here comes the McLaren of Allen trying to fill in the position. B-Dunk on the outside, being left and being dropped out of the top three. Perondi leading out through the first wide hairpin, locking it up, and Chandler Seda sitting right behind him in the Renault, making adjustments, trying to catch up to the Williams furiously. Hoopalicious sitting in third, following their championship rivals up the hill into the tight left-hander. Look at them all just fly through those opening corners. Mitch, Williams, Renault, Ferrari, your top three at the Hungaroring.
Beautiful start by Perondi, just superb, and he's just gone now. And Chandler P2 importantly, so Chandler, if he can catch up to Perondi. It's been wild seeing to the back as well. We're seeing 3 wide, 4 wide at one point. I've seen a bit of wing come off a few drivers as well, as we always see here at Hungary. As we said, Monaco without the walls. Wing damage is a big possibility at this circuit, especially on lap 1. But a second margin almost now for Perondi over Chandler. Unbelievable.
Fantastic start, and there's just so much grip out on the racetrack now. The top 10 sitting on their mediums, 1:20.68, the fastest time, obviously lap 1. Blue flags already. DNS enabled, which doesn't seem to be possible in this first lap, possibly. We'll wait one more. But the top 5, well, Chandler Seda being scored as the leader, but again, just a momentary glitch. Mitch, you take a look at that pit strategy there, and you see the soft drivers have the option to go 2 stops here. Do you really think that tires are going to be such a factor that drivers will go more than 1 stop this evening?
I think if they want to take a risk, they can go 2 stop. You can make the 2 stop work here at this circuit. But I think the main runners at the front are going to be going the 1 stop. You may see some cars maybe outside the top 5 go the 2 maybe. We'll have to wait and see, but it also depends on if we see anything come from the sky. But at the moment, it is dry conditions.
Dry, just like some of these drivers like it. You can already see drivers locking those wheels up into these corners. Looking at ARS Fern in the numbers 37 Alfa Romeo, 6th place right now, 7/10 out of the top 5. Perondi, now Chandler Seda bests his time, 1:17.53. Seda 1 second off the pace, but it seems to be hovering around that mark. Some troubles for FinFan. Last week, number 1 FinFan picking up his worst finish of the season, 14th, and it doesn't get off to a good start in Hungary, but it can only go uphill from here, Mitch.
That's right. It can only go uphill. Always a chance of an SC um, that can come out at any moment, and you could always get yourself back into the running at any moment in this race. And Tier 1, one of the toughest tiers to really have that opportunity to maybe sneak back into the points, but you never know in this race. You never know, and that's why FinFan's still out there. He hasn't retired in the pits. He's still going, and we'll try to hope for maybe to get in the points.
Williams, Renault, Ferrari, your top three as they run 3 laps underway and about to be completed. B-Dunk in the Mercedes locks it up, chasing down Allen. ARS Fern in that Renault, now in the 6th position, falling off the pace of the Mercedes. The McLaren of Bruno Will now closing that gap. And Mitch, for all intents and purposes, all of the top 7 are separated by a second on the racetrack. Is this just a feature of Hungary where drivers find it easy to gain space from each other?
Yeah, Hungary's just one of those tracks where you're going to see, well, as we've spoken about before in the season, of a DRS train, and that's the difficult part of this track because it's so tough to pass, and you're going to see that here if Chandler, who's tried to get close to Perondi, but it's just not enough at the moment. And same with Hoop behind trying to get to Chandler. And it's so tough, and you're going to see close margins here at the end of this race, no doubt about it.
Coming into round 10, 10th in the points with a did not start last week. Deer Hunter lost 1 position to Axe Formula One, who now moves up. He's 14th, but he moves up in the points. Chandler Seta gets a 3-second penalty. We spoke earlier about FinFan. It can only go uphill from here. Same deal for Deer Hunter, Midge. A did not start last week. He still finds himself in the top 10 in points, but it can really only get better here.
Yeah, only 1 point behind Axe, as you said, and if he can get back into the points, that will be a crucial point to prove at the end of this one. And of course, P8 at the moment, and he's really championship role, to be honest, Axe, down in P14, but on the different strategy, that being the hard tyres. So we may see those two be near each other towards the end of the race. We'll have to wait and see how that all goes down.
Those of you just joining us, I'm Rick James, bringing you uninterrupted coverage of Breakout Racing League's Round 10. We do notice the visual issues on the screen. We apologize for that. We will have them fixed for next week at Belgium. In the meantime, Mitch, Hoopalicious really applying the pressure now. Chandler Seta in deep trouble, and that 3-second penalty really seems to have affected the Renault pilot.
And you can tell, I mean, I was on board with Chandler a few times. This goes a little bit wide. It has definitely cost him. He was pushing probably a little bit too hard to try to get up to Perondi, and it's just not worked out for him at all. And now Hoop is going right on him, and actually Chandler's in already.
Only 5 laps into this race. I don't know if there's any damage on that Renault. It doesn't look like it to me, Mitch. We'll see if he keeps the soft tires on, but he is now just collapsing. And on go the hards. The white hards on the yellow Renault, down and away. And presumably the next 30 laps of this race, Mitch, will be completed on hard tires for Chandler Seta.
Yeah, and I think another thing you may be thinking of is maybe he's losing time to Hoop. He might try to maybe see if he can get a slight undercut on him and get some time over him, and maybe try to gain a little bit on Perondi as well. So it will take him time to get those hards up to speed, but that's what I think Chandler might be thinking at the moment. And yeah, 30 laps on these hards will be a fun one for him.
We're going to see what this driver can accomplish now. Hoopalicious, 2 seconds and falling. Allen now sitting 3rd in the McLaren. We'll see what the formerly known as ARS Allen can come up with. A best finish of 2nd this year. That was round 5 in Spain. Possibly another podium for this McLaren driver. And it would help in the championship as well, Mitch. Coming into this race, Williams has a one. Look at this. Now everybody's coming down pit road. Either they know something about the weather, Mitch, or just the tires are wearing that hard.
as Perondi has come in. Chandler has left the session. He actually spun, so I don't want to go too much into that. So that's a pretty big moment there. So I don't know what's going on there. But Perondi is in the pit lane. He comes out on the hard tyres. So does Allard. So yeah, Perondi now will maintain P11, but will be the leader once the cars ahead come in.
There you can see the majority of drivers on the hards. The only drivers that presumably have not pitted are those on the softs and the mediums alike. Hoopalicious into the lead in the number 24 Ferrari. So now the gauntlet has been thrown for second place in the championship, and the Ferrari pilot has a job to do, Mitch. Do you give it everything on the remaining life you have on these softs, or do you come in immediately and meet your rival's challenge?
I think you have to come in, absolutely, and I think that's the only possible way, because you'll lose a little bit of time. Actually, Hoop stays out, interestingly, and B-Dunk comes in. So Hoop going for a little bit of a different route here at the moment, trying to see if he can maybe get maybe a little bit of an overcut over Perondi. As we got B-Dunk, Deer Hunter, and a Meanfern into the pits. The rest that are still out are the guys that started on the medium tyres and the hards.
Hoopalicious coming around that corner, 8 laps underway at the virtual Hungaroring. Hoopalicious now one of 2 drivers remaining on the soft, Chandler Seta being the other. And as you mentioned, he did leave the session, so the Renault currently ghosted. So now this has to be the call for the Ferrari, Mitch. It's got to be now for tires.
Well, it's got to be. I think, or we may be trying to hope for Perondi's tyres to maybe go up a little bit off before he does, and maybe hope to have a bit of fresher set at the end of the race. Maybe that's what's going through Hoop's mind at the moment. I do not know. He'll have to come in here soon because Perondi's gained time, but Perondi's actually in traffic at the moment, being behind Tyler Clan.
Bruno Will in the McLaren sitting second right now with a huge lockup. Last week, Bruno Will manages to get himself that second place finish, his best finish of the year, first silver podium, and as we mentioned, Brazil 1-2. He sees himself 3 1/3 seconds behind. The Mexican pilot, Edu M21, now moves into the 3rd position with his Red Bull teammate, VRT Woman behind him. Woman, who